I don't know what I saw that night, but whatever it was, it looked exactly like me. This happened during the early 2000s, back when Sao Paulo was going through that energy rationing phase. The government was cutting power during specific hours of the night, and everyone just had to adapt. My house was completely dark, but I didn't mind. I've always been good at moving around in the dark. It almost felt like a game. I was in my bedroom on the second floor, watching TV. It must have been around 9 at night, not that late. I was alone. My parents and younger brother were out, probably at the grocery store or visiting someone. I got hungry and decided to make a sandwich. No big deal, right? Just a regular, boring night. I went downstairs and made something quick in the kitchen. 2 slices of bread, ham, cheese. I poured myself a glass of soda and grabbed a plate. Like I said, the lights were all off, but I knew where everything was. Plus, there was still a little light coming in from the street outside. Just enough to see vague outlines and shadows, but not enough to feel safe. I turned off the kitchen light and started walking back toward the stairs. Then I felt it, that urge to look back. I don't know why, but something made me stop at the edge of the hallway. My stomach tightened, and I turned around slowly. There was someone standing in the middle of the kitchen. No sound, no movement. Just a dark silhouette. It was like a shadow, but too solid. It didn't feel like a person hiding in the dark. It felt like something pretending to be human. A little too tall. The proportions were off. I froze. My first instinct was to throw something. So I did. I launched the plate and glass straight at it. Didn't even check if I hit anything. I just turned and bolted. I could hear the glass shatter behind me. I could hear footsteps, heavy, fast, closing in. I ran up the stairs, 2 at a time. At the top, I looked back, and there it was, still there, at the bottom of the stairs. But now there were 2, one at the foot of the stairs, and the other halfway up. My heart stopped. I didn't understand. I thought, there are 2 of them. I'm done. I'm not getting out of this. I turned and sprinted into my room, slammed the door shut, and locked it. That's when it got worse. I stepped back toward the window, thinking maybe I'd have to jump. The house had a front yard, and I figured a sprained ankle was better than whatever those things were going to do to me. And then the impossible happened. The door didn't open. It didn't get kicked in. That thing just walked through it. No sound. No resistance. It just phased through the solid wood like the door wasn't even there. I stopped breathing. It looked like me. Not just vaguely. Not just similar. It looked exactly like me. Same shirt. Same pants. Same terrified expression. It was copying me. Every little movement, every breath. I stepped back again, and it did the same, mirroring me with perfect precision. It reached toward the doorknob the same way I had just minutes ago. It looked around the room like I did. Then it walked backward, exactly like I had, until it was right in front of the window with me. And then it leaned in, and it stepped into me. It didn't attack. It didn't scream. It just entered me, like walking into fog. Except I felt it. I felt it pass through my skin, my chest, my head. I felt like I was being swallowed by my own reflection. And that's when I jumped. I didn't think twice. I opened the window and threw myself out, landing hard on the grass below. Pain shot through my leg. I twisted my ankle. Maybe worse, but I didn't care. I crawled across the yard and waited on the sidewalk, shaking and crying, watching the house like something might burst out after me. Eventually, My parents pulled up. They saw me on the ground and freaked out. I told them I thought someone had broken in. I didn't know how to explain it, so I didn't. I just said someone was in the house, and I got scared. They believed me, especially when they saw my injury. My dad went inside and saw the mess in the kitchen. Broken glass, soda on the floor, the sandwich still uneaten. He called the police. They searched the whole house. Nothing. No signs of forced entry. No footprints. No broken windows. No unlocked doors. They found nothing unusual. Except, I knew what I saw. I knew what followed me. I knew what entered me. The worst part, when I looked in the mirror the next morning, I didn't feel like myself. I still don't. I live in Ilhias, Bahia. I've been in the same house for 5 years now, and despite my best efforts, I've never managed to change bedrooms with my sister. Something about this room, it's never really felt right. But people don't believe you when you say things like that. They laugh. They call it paranoia. My room is simple. There's a dresser with an old mirror above it, a bed shoved against the side wall, a bookshelf across from the mirror, and, well, chaos, honestly. Clothes everywhere, a few scattered books, the kind of mess you swear you'll clean up, but never really do. The mirror is old. We bought it when we bought the house, and it's been hanging in the same place ever since. It faces the bookshelf directly and sits close to my bed. I never thought much about it. It was just part of the room, like the walls or the ceiling fan that never works quite right. Most days after school, I was the first one to get home. I'd throw my backpack on the bed, grab something to eat, then zone out in front of the TV. It was routine, normal. Nothing ever happened until it did. One afternoon, I followed the usual rhythm, dropped my stuff, turned toward the door, and caught something in the mirror. Something behind me. It wasn't just a trick of the light. I swear on everything I love, on my family, on the ones still living and the ones long gone. I saw someone standing there. My heart froze. I turned around instantly, expecting what? I don't even know. But there was nothing. No one. It left me shaken. I stood there for what felt like a full minute, just staring at the empty room. I even laughed a little nervously, like people do in movies right before they die. Later that day, when my sister came home, I told her what happened. She rolled her eyes and said something like, "I knew you'd lose it one day." I didn't bother pressing it. I let it go. The next day, I'd mostly forgotten about it. School was long, the heat unbearable, and I just wanted to collapse on my bed. But the moment I stepped into the room, I felt it. That strange pressure, like someone was watching me. I turned toward the mirror again, and there she was, a woman, standing perfectly still, just in front of the bookshelf. Her face was blurry, like static, but her shape was clearly human. I gasped loud and spun around. Nothing. The room was empty, like always. But I had seen her. I know I did. From that day on, everything changed. I told my sister again, but she didn't believe me. I tried to show her, tried to catch the woman in the mirror while someone else was in the room. But she never appeared when others were around, only when I was alone. It became a cruel pattern. I'd sit on the bed, doing homework or scrolling through my phone, and I'd feel it, the pressure. I'd glance up, and there she was, staring at me through the mirror. Still, silent, watching. She never moved, never made a sound. but her presence filled the room like smoke, heavy, choking, inescapable. My family started teasing me. "There goes the ghost girl again," my dad joked once. My mom laughed too, but with a little concern behind her eyes. I guess I don't blame them. It does sound crazy, but she was real, is real. Over time, I stopped reacting. I stopped screaming. I stopped telling people. What was the point? The woman never left. Now she's part of my life. She only exists in the reflection, always standing by the bookshelf, always still. She never speaks, never blinks, but I feel her eyes on me. Not just from the mirror. Sometimes I swear she's behind me even when I'm not looking at the glass. I've tried everything to understand it. I've searched online. I've talked to a spiritual woman once, discreetly. She told me some mirrors are thin places, where the boundary between worlds weakens. That sounds like fiction, but honestly, I don't know what else to believe. People ask me if I'm afraid. The truth is, I don't know anymore. There's no storybook ending. No priest came to bless the house. I didn't smash the mirror or move away. I still live here. I still sleep in that room. And sometimes, when I'm home alone, I catch her in the corner of my eye, always watching. If you're listening to this and thinking I'm crazy, maybe I am. But maybe you've seen something too. Maybe you felt it, that subtle wrongness, that unseen gaze. And maybe, like me, you've learned to live with something you'll never understand. I've always lived in the same house in Ilias, Bahia. It's a cozy place, tucked away in a quiet neighborhood where nothing much ever happens. The sun always seems to shine here, and the streets are lined with tall palm trees. My life was simple, predictable, and peaceful. Nothing out of the ordinary ever occurred. That was until the mirror. I remember it clearly. The mirror was old, one of those large, antique pieces with a beautifully carved frame. It was hanging on the wall in my bedroom, just opposite the bed. Every day, as I got ready in the morning, I'd glance at myself in that mirror. Nothing special, just a part of my routine. But then one day, something happened. It started with a feeling. You know, the kind of chill that creeps up your spine for no apparent reason. I was brushing my hair, standing there in front of the mirror, when I saw something. At first, it was just a blur, something in the reflection that didn't belong. My heart skipped a beat, and I froze. When I turned around quickly, no one was there. I checked the room. Nothing. But when I looked back at the mirror, I couldn't shake the feeling that something had been standing right behind me. I didn't think much of it at first. It could have been my mind playing tricks on me, right? I was probably just tired, or the lighting had done something odd. But the next day, it happened again. And this time it was worse. The second time was different. I had just finished getting dressed when I saw her again. This time, I couldn't deny it. The figure in the mirror was clearer. It was a woman. She was standing behind me, just like the first time. Her features were almost impossible to make out, but I could feel her presence. She didn't move, but I could sense something unsettling about her. I turned around instantly, my heart pounding in my chest. But once again, there was nothing behind me. It was like she wasn't even real. Yet, there she was, standing perfectly still, only in the reflection. I wanted to scream, but nothing came out. I just stared at the mirror, my breath shallow. My mind raced. Was I going crazy? Was this just some strange illusion? I couldn't understand what was happening, but I knew one thing for sure. She wasn't going away. I tried to tell myself it was just my imagination, but after that second encounter, I couldn't ignore it anymore. The next morning, I tried to show my sister. I called her into my room and asked her to stand with me in front of the mirror. But nothing happened. The woman wasn't there. My sister laughed it off, calling me crazy, and I couldn't blame her. How could I explain what I had seen when it didn't happen for anyone else? The feeling of isolation began to settle in. Every time I stood in front of that mirror, I felt her presence. But the moment someone else was around, she was gone. It made me feel like I was losing my mind. My family joked about my ghost stories, brushing it off as if I was just being dramatic. But I wasn't imagining it. She was there, watching me every time I looked into the mirror. And yet, no one else could see her. The days turned into weeks, and the woman kept appearing. It wasn't always the same, though. Sometimes she was clearer, sometimes she was blurry, but she was always in the same spot, in the reflection, standing silently, as if she were watching me, waiting. But she never moved. Not once. It was like I had to live with her presence every day. She wasn't threatening, but her stillness was worse than any movement could have been. Every time I looked into the mirror, I felt a knot form in my stomach. It wasn't fear of what she might do. It was fear of what she represented. A constant, unexplainable presence that never left, always there in the background. I tried to ignore it. I thought that if I stopped acknowledging her, she'd disappear. But she didn't. She stayed. Just stood there, watching. Living with the unexplained becomes something you learn to live with. After months of this, I still couldn't understand it. The woman in the mirror, was she a ghost? A figment of my imagination? I didn't know, and honestly, I didn't care anymore. I had grown used to her presence, even though it terrified me. Every now and then, she would appear again, never moving, just standing there. I wonder sometimes if she'll ever go away, or if I'll just have to accept that she's always going to be there, silently observing me from that mirror. And then I ask myself, what does she want? Is she trying to communicate something? Or is it just that I'm caught in some kind of never-ending nightmare? But I can't answer that. I don't know. Have any of you ever had something like this happen to you? Something you can't explain? Something that just won't go away? If you have, you know what it's like to live with the unknown, the unnerving feeling that something is always there, just beyond your reach. If you enjoyed this chilling story, don't forget to subscribe to Beyond Fear and hit the bell icon so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos. Here, you'll find more real stories filled with mystery, psychological horror, and the supernatural every week. Before you go, make sure to check out the 2 videos that just popped up in the end screen. I promise, they'll leave you with goosebumps. See you next time, if you dare.